Texas. Easily one of my favorite states to visit. Yeah. The last time I went to Texas, Ted Cruz took me out to all of his favorite restaurants. Yeah, and everything had spit in it, but it was still delicious. It really was. So I'm definitely going back. But over the past few years, Texas's governor has been scaling back the state's hospitality, particularly towards undocumented immigrants. He's had them arrested. He's called out the National Guard. He even told citizens to, quote, take matters into their own hands. Yeah. But last week, Governor Abbott, he took things to a whole new level when he decided to start busing illegal immigrants from Texas all the way to Washington, D.C., yeah, as a way to hit back at the Biden administration's immigration policies. And now, the first bus has arrived.
About an hour ago, the first bus full of migrants from Texas arrived right outside the Fox Bureau in Washington, D.C.
This bus took off from Del Rio, Texas. It left Saturday at 4 p.m., I'm told, and has traveled for over 3 days straight to get here. There was a group from Nicaragua. I also spoke to 6 young men from Venezuela. I asked them what they wanted to do next. They said they wanted to go to Miami, and I asked if they were going to get there. They said they didn't know. They're here in this country. They're willing to work hard.
We're here in the food court at Union Station, where a lot of them have been getting something to eat because this was a 34-hour bus ride. They said they are very excited to be here. They feel welcome. They said that they know that they are a prop in all of this, but they wanted to come anyway.
You know, I don't care what anyone says. America is one of the craziest countries in the world. Because what is happening here, people? Do you see, like, what is happening here? One day the governor is building a wall to keep immigrants out, and the next day he's giving them a free ride to the Capitol. What are you doing? Like, I also don't think that he fully thought this through. Because if you're trying to deter immigrants, don't you think this sends a mixed message? No? Huh? Yeah, because you realize they're going to be calling home like, yo, as soon as I crossed the border, they captured me, and they took me to Washington, D.C. Hey, I think I want to meet the president. Oh, man, you guys got to come over as quick as you can. Say Greg Abbott sent you, man. It's crazy. Also, of all of the places to drop the people off, you chose Fox News' headquarters in D.C.? Really? How are you going to do that to Fox News, man? Those people are already terrified of imaginary immigrants. Now what are they going to do when the real ones show up? Those people are panicking. Imagine that, like everyone showing up to the Fox Bureau. I bet in that office, everyone was screaming like, oh my God, the caravan is here. What? I thought we made that up. I thought so too. It's also interesting that the immigrants know that they're being used as pawns, but they're willing to get shipped out of Texas anyway. I like that. And I like their honesty. They're like, yeah, we get what's happening here, but we're fine. I guess maybe they just prefer to be in a state with a reliable power grid. That's what they were going for, you know? I also don't think this is actually going to personally annoy Joe Biden, you know? I don't think it's personally going to annoy him. Because like, we're going to do this to get Joe Biden. What's it going to do to him? What, you think Joe Biden is going to be what, waiting to get into the club? And then he's going to be like, damn, I'm behind like 15 Nicaraguan dudes. Oh man, I'm never going to get in. That's not going to happen. Joe Biden doesn't wait in lines for the club. The man goes to bed after Jeopardy. Keeps things moving. But let's move on to our next story, which is about pregnancy. Yes, you know, how most of us were born. For a long time, you know who you are. For a long time, society has had a really weird relationship with pregnant women, you know, because on the one hand, it'll be like, oh, beautiful mother bringing life into the world. But then on the other hand, society will be like, I don't want to see it. Can't you breastfeed without your boobs? Well, now, one of the world's biggest superstars is trying to help reshape how society looks at pregnant women.
A first look at Rihanna on the cover of Vogue, photographed by Annie Leibovitz, sharing details of her high-fashion pregnancy. Saying, quote, when I found out I was pregnant, I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to go shopping in no maternity aisle. I'm sorry, it's too much fun to get dressed up. I'm not going to let that part disappear because my body is changing. The music superstar has been redefining maternity wear since her pregnancy announcement in January. Telling the magazine, quote, I'm hoping that we were able to redefine what's considered decent for pregnant women. Adding, my body is doing incredible things right now, and I'm not going to be ashamed of that.
Yeah. What? You tell them, Riri. I love that. You know, I couldn't agree with her more. Like, women should show off that they're pregnant. Like, that's the most amazing thing in the world. Think about it. You're growing a person inside of you. You've basically turned into a studio apartment for 9 months. That's incredible. I don't even enjoy having people over at my place for more than a few hours. I can't imagine making that decision. Can you imagine if a friend was like, yo, dude, would it be cool if I crashed in your stomach for like 9 months and then leave through your vagina? Yeah? No? All right, how about I just lean on the couch? Yeah, I'll stay on the couch, dude. I actually can't ever believe that women were made to feel ashamed of any part of getting pregnant. That's like one of the strangest things you think about in society. Because let me tell you something, man. If guys grew babies in our balls, we'd show that shit off everywhere. Yeah, our maternity pants would just have a hole in the front. We'd be like, 4 months, 4 months. You see that? 4 months. We're doing this. So I actually think it's pretty dope to have someone as influential and famous as Rihanna trying to destigmatize the pregnant body in everyday life as well. Because whatever Rihanna does, people will follow. You know? I mean, look at what she did for umbrellas. Before that, we were just getting wet. In fact, you know what should happen? After pregnancy, I hope that Rihanna will pick another societal issue to destigmatize. You know? I hope that issue is something important like picking wedgies out of our butts in public. No, you guys, this is a bigger deal than people want to admit. I don't know about you, but I'm sick of doing that thing where I put my hand in my pocket like I'm looking for my keys, but then I'm secretly picking my underwear out from my ass. Why am I ashamed? Why is any of us ashamed, huh? Think about, statistically speaking, right now, half of this audience, right now, you have a wedgie, right now. Right now, yeah. And you're afraid to take it out. Right now. So please, Rihanna, when you're ready, we need this. All right, let's move on. Because our final story is about school. Yeah, it's where you learn important life skills, like how to get hit by a dodgeball. I actually use that in the office every day. There are a lot of controversies about schools right now, you know, from the books that students read to the subjects that teachers teach to Meredith getting cast as the lead in the spring musical when clearly Allison is the better singer, but Meredith's mom runs the arts committee, so you know how that goes. But in Pennsylvania, they don't give a shit about any of those issues. No, they're arguing about lunch.
Parents are angry over what they call the lunch police. A school in Pennsylvania says they will search students' lunches to confiscate their snacks. The district says students have been bringing an excessive amount of chips, candy, and soda. Students will only be allowed now to bring one small bag of chips and one soda. Anything bigger or more will be thrown away. Parents criticize the decision, saying the school has no right to limit what a student eats. They also say students will not have to bring so many snacks if school lunches were bigger.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. Look, on the one hand, I get what the school is doing. Junk food addiction is a real problem. You know? Yeah, I had a cousin who loved Pringles. And once he popped, that was it. He couldn't stop. He couldn't stop. He tried, but he couldn't stop it. Oh, I'm gonna miss you, Tabby, soon. I miss you so much. So I get putting some sort of limits on the sugar. You know, sugar makes kids go crazy. They can't concentrate. Like if they all hopped up on sugar, how are they supposed to learn that racism ended in 1965? They can't concentrate. They can't think. But I will say this, I also agree with the parents. This seems like another example of school overreach. Like American schools keep imposing all sorts of crazy restrictions. You know, it's like, oh, which food can you eat? What can you wear? How many guns can you bring in? We're in America, goddammit. It's not North Korea. I mean, it's one thing to make the rule, but searching kids for snacks, that's a violation of privacy. Not to mention a health risk. Because now what are the kids gonna do? Probably gonna be sneaking cans of Sprite inside their butts like bags of heroin. All right, that's it for the headlines. But before we go, let's check in on the stock market with our good finance expert, Michael Costa, everybody. Michael, thank you. So, what's going on in the market today, man?
So the markets, I mean, look, actually, that last story, you know, that reminded me. We'll get to this in a second, but the school lunches, you know, I remember being a kid and feeling this way, because I used to get beat up every day at school for my brunch money, right? I went to private school, but here's the question that no one is asking, right? These confiscated chips, candies, and sodas, where are they going, everybody, okay? I got an answer for you. I bet you it's the lunch ladies that are grabbing them because they're not going to eat the shit they're cooking. Am I right? So, right?
You're onto something, man.
That's actually another thing. I'll get to this in a second. But, you know, when I was a kid, Trevor, and I used to have food left on my plate, my mom would say, hey, you better eat that. Kids are starving in Africa. And I used to say to her, look, Mom, someday I'm going to work for an African, okay? And I'm going to ask that African. So I'm just going to, for a sec, if I got you while you're here, I mean, when I would finish my mom's tuna casserole, like, were you feeling that? You know what I mean? Like, but, I mean, it's not.
That's not how it worked.
But my mom would.
I think it was about gratitude. It's not how it worked. Like, we didn't know whether you finished your food or not.
All right. So I guess you call my mom a liar or something. But
No,
all right. Look, it seems to me, Trevor, that the only thing these schools aren't confiscating are guns. You know, I mean, they're looking through the backpack like, oh, here's a rifle, you can keep that. Here's a handgun, you can keep that. Oh, my God, what the hell is this? Sour Patch Kids? You know, sugar kills, Chandler, right?
All right, Costa, what's happening on the stock market?
Okay, look, this is simple, okay? I crush it at the stocks, dude. All right, look, everyone that doesn't figure this out, you need to buy here, okay? And when you look, take a step back, and you can see, when you buy here, it's going up. Now, you don't want to buy right here, okay? Right? Now, the company's in green, Trevor, and I'm just realizing this. Buy the green, right? Red, you don't want to do that shit. You get it? Okay?
Yeah, but
it's simple,
you're trying to predict the future. This is not
Trevor, if you take a step back, like let's go with this green squiggly line right here, right? If you buy right there, you know, and then you sell there, you see why, you know what I'm saying? It's simple, dude.
Dude, how much money have you invested in the stock markets?
I do crypto, right? So, which reminds me, can I sleep at the studio tonight? Because
you said you were an expert. Michael Costa, everybody.